Hello and welcome back to the XLNC Light Testing Grounds Week 2. This is the Analyst Desk and I am Axman87. I'm filling in for Jay Kelton. There was just too much to talk about, too much for one man anyway, so I'm filling in here on Axman87. Joining me once again is Diatropa. Diatropa, we just watched one heck of a game too. What do you got to tell me about that game, man? I'm still kind of reeling from the Morgana jungle pick.
That was a pretty insane game, and I really liked the Morgana. I really liked the theory, the dark tech there, and I was excited to see how the different teams would play out, because it did seem to be a really strong team fight in the Yasuo Volibear with the Morgana to enable, which I thought was a really cool innovation against what ended up being a really strong split pushing comp for SFU, and yeah, like I enjoyed seeing how the teams tried to play to their different win conditions. Unfortunately, I think God Squad maybe not practice. Sorry, not God Squad. I'm prepping for the next game. And maybe Banks not practiced enough on the Yasuo bot and not respecting the Zac pick. When I was go ahead and make a point. What did you see in the?
To be honest, I would say the biggest problem with Banks is that there's a difference between winning draft and winning games. You can get a good comp together and have some good draft tools to use, like a Morgana jungle that's going to get you better matchups in other lanes. At the end of the day, if you can't execute as well as the other team can, you're just going to lose, and that's just how it's going to go. And I think that's what we saw here with Banks into FSU Black, is that FSU Black just knew their champions better. I mean, we saw a monster performance on the Gangplank from Jodrin. We saw a monster performance in the jungle from Swagasm and Nihilator as well on the Ezreal. And these big kind of solo early game lane dominance plays, that's just what wins games right now in Season 10. You can get the objective control and steamroll that into a win here. It wasn't a particularly long game, I don't think. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, win lane, win game, right?
Yeah, and I think that you bring up a good point here where they had drafted themselves, or Banks had drafted themselves into a position where they had to win lane with the Yasuo and the Volibear in order to have that good mid game and be able to execute at a high level. Whereas really all that FSU had to do was survive and not let them get ahead, and their draft was going to be just fine going into the mid game.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also kind of the question of the meta as well. You can basically go line by line in all these matchups, and whichever champion is the more meta, just basically one. And you have Kled into Volibear in the top lane. This is one of the only areas where Banks had any kind of success. That's because Volibear is just more meta than Kled is. Moving down, Zac takes the matchup over Morgana easily. Jodrin takes the matchup over Wang. A little bit weird there, but I feel like, you know, this is probably just a solid counter pick from the Gangplank. And down into the bottom, we have the Ezreal taking the win over Yasuo. So basically just these matchups going how they should be going. But yeah, what a game. I think that's probably the first and last time, at least I would hope, we're seeing Morgana jungle. It wasn't terrible, but I don't think worth picking. But yeah, let's move forward here. FSU Black will be moving forward into our game 3 here, and they'll be playing against God Squad, who we saw in game 1. I actually didn't get to watch game 1, but I've got some information on that game here, and we can take a look at that real quick. But you did watch that game, Diatropa. How did that game break down? I saw they got a Gangplank pick in here.
Yeah, so this was actually a really interesting game where God Squad. Let me see. Let me pull up my little notes here as well. They actually played really well in response to the draft from Bar. I actually felt like Bar tried to take a lot of control of the draft, but it ended up being really good execution from the jungler and the mid laner together to create a situation where they could stall out the game long enough that their draft had just an easier time doing what they wanted to do. Much like in this game, it ended up being all they had to do was let the Trundle absorb all the ultimates. And so I'm really looking for the mid lane jungle synergy to again be at the same level for God Squad to be able to succeed in this game. Because I do think that when they hit their item breakpoints, when they're able to set up team fights the way that they want to, these players on a micro level are so talented and know their limits that I want to see what they can do with that against a squad like FSU.
Definitely. It also seems in game 1 that God Squad really had no trouble winning this draft. I mean, I don't have the draft, I don't think, on this particular game, but they basically got just all of the weapons they could have asked for. I actually do have the draft here. And yeah, first pick Ezreal, last pick Cassiopeia. This is a monster draft right out of the gates. Yuumi is like the biggest weakness on this comp, and it's Ezreal Yuumi. I mean, it's not bad. Yuumi got a lot of nerfs, but at the end of the day, it's still Ezreal Yuumi. So this is just absolutely monstrous. And you could tell from Bar in game one that it's not like they won the draft easily. There's some crazy bans coming through as well. You have Aphelios, Cinder, and Ornn, too, all extremely solid meta picks. And God Squad still gets everything they need to win this game while giving up picks like, I mean, Orianna, which is okay, Sejuani, okay right now. But yeah, I would say God Squad, you got to watch out for this draft, man, because you will absolutely lose the game in draft against this team.
Let's and actually, speaking of draft, let's throw it to the casters to take us away on that. We already see the Echo and Zed being banned, and I'm hoping it's a Zac, but we'll see. So take it away, casters, and let us know what happens in game 3 and the final game of tonight.
Thank you so much to our analyst desk, Axeman, as well as Zeotropa. You guys have been fantastic, Axeman, filling in, letting my voice recover slightly as a lot of you in the Twitch chat hyping up this final game. I love seeing that energy coming out, dropping a whole bunch of follows, as well as those hydrates, which I've been trying very hard to keep myself hydrated. I actually had to go get an entirely new glass of water because I've been hydrating so much, because these games have just been so hype. I am starting to sweat from the amount of energy that is coming off of these teams. I love talking about their journeys both last week and this week. FSU Black is in finals! That's massive! For those of you guys that love this team, Jodran is doing an amazing job. Swagasm is doing an amazing job. They pick up the Zac Caitlyn Nautilus for first pick, into second picks as well for God Squad. Welcoming back to the desk Arzakali, as he has been destroying it tonight on the play-by-play role. We are deep into the pro draft picks and bans, but Gangplank is going to be taken off the table. So Jodran, you're going to have to play something new, my man.
Yep, I've not only been destroying it tonight, but I have also been destroying my vocal cords. So let's get into this one.
You need me to take over play-by-play? I'm just saying, I can cover if you need me to.
It's tempting, but I don't.
You decide. Take your time. Let's get through picks and bans first.
No, I don't think I'll let you do that. But we will see Ornn banned out. That's pretty interesting. And Gangplank banned out. That is obviously targeted at the great and powerful Jod. So now we have to see what he plays instead. But I want to talk about a Xerath ban as well. I believe that's Jod's best character right now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Xerath is one of his favorite characters to play. Actually was pulled by Deotropa as the expected ban to come out as well, and so no surprise him being taken off the table. So Jodran's going to have to dig a little bit deeper into his pool of champions to figure out what to play, because he is coming through. Oh my goodness. Neptune coming in with the 3rd community sub tonight. The hype is real. That is madness. Wait, no, it isn't just 1. It's not 2. It's 3 tier 1 subs for a total of 5 tonight. This is insane. Tom Clancy, Rainbow, Tyler Twig, and Super Moles. Enjoy those tier 1 subs gifted by Neptune herself. She is incredible and amazing. Enjoy those wonderful, wonderful emotes coming out as well. And hey, you know what? We said maybe we would look at getting some Twitch emotes if for Jodran if we get over 100 live viewers. We haven't cracked it just yet tonight. We got really close. Maybe game 3 will bring it as Mordekaiser gets locked in for the top lane. What is it Jodran has got up his sleeve for mid lane? There's so many options available.
Yep, and we will see Mordekaiser and Maokai get locked in. Both of these, some heavy control tops. Yasuo! Oh no, Jodran giving a little bit of shade to the other team on the last game. He's going to take Yasuo and he's going to say, you know what? Let me show you how it's done. Jod, hopefully he's going to give us a good show on that. I'm a little bit curious to see what God picks against the Yasuo here. 5, 4. The suspense is killing me, but it's going to be the LeBlanc that's killing them. I love both of these comps. I understand them, more importantly.
There's no Morgana in the jungle? Come on, it's gotta be Yuumi jungle this game. You know it's... No, I'm kidding. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I like Yasuo. So here's the reason why I like Yasuo, all right? Every game of solo queue I've ever played that has the Yasuo, you have two types of Yasuos. You have the one that goes 0 and 10, or you have the one that goes 10 and 0. And if anything that last game was to say Jodran's skill when it comes to playing League of Legends, I have a strong feeling that it is a 10 and 0 Yasuo on this champion. So we'll see whether or not he can actually pull that off as we are ready to get into the client picks and bans. Nocturne coming out from God Squad, I think, is one of the more spicy picks to talk about because of the ability to engage from long range and the ability to shut down vision from FSU, especially when you're looking at people like the Zac, Swagasm, who just loved to jump into team fights and cause chaos, and Yasuo, who needs to actually see people and minions to be able to jump to keep his constant dashing up. Both of those champions are really, really critical and important to being able to have vision as to who it is and where it is they're jumping to. Of course, Mordekaiser says, hey, let's 1v1 in the Death Realm, so if there's anyone that I want to see him drag to the Death Realm, it's that Nocturne.
Yep. So my really here's my hot take. I think that the Caitlyn Nautilus is going to lose the bot lane to God. I think Ezreal and Yuumi are going to be able, because we've seen the God Squad. We know how Rapid Fire likes to move around. Angelic Baby, he's not really there with the movement, but Rapid Fire so is. I think we can expect Caitlyn to be trying to snipe them down, and he's just going to be dodging around them. At least that's what I hope to see there. That's my hot pick of the night. I am fully expecting to be wrong, but there it is. What do you think?
I'm sorry. I got distracted by the hype in chat. Repeat the very last point that you made. I'm very sorry.
So my guess here is that Rapid Fire on that Ezreal, he's going to be able to shift around however he likes. Caitlyn's going to try to be sniping him. Nautilus is going to keep throwing hooks down. But I think Rapid Fire is going to be so slippery, he's going to actually win his lane.
Yeah, so Rapid Fire's Ezreal and Yuumi combo in Game 1 tonight against Bar, the winners of last week's lightweight tournament event, they looked so unbelievably good. 17-3, I think, were his actual score line when it came to the end of that game. You add his slipperiness to Zizovic is LeBlanc, the slipperiness that LeBlanc can have as well, and you have a team that is so hard to actually group and shut down, lock down. You just want to tie him to the ground to get stop moving, I'm trying to get you. And you have these champions that are so hard to actually catch, whereas you have the massive Maokai that's going to be that tanky front line. You could run into the same situation that Bar ran into, which was burning all of their big spells and their big damage on the front line tank, which is exactly what C9 World Champ wants. Hit me, please, and to let the rest of my team do the actual carrying. So this feels like a very God Squad style of play, straight out of what they did in game number 1. But we'll see if they can pull that off against FSU, who have a similar heavy engage, heavy team fight composition that they ran last game.
So Jake, I've got a little proposition for you. Tell me what you think. I believe you said that you thought that Jod was gonna get 10 kills in this game, isn't that right?
Well, I said that if he was a 0-10 or a 10-0, I lean him more towards the 10-0. So I will say that if I had to pick the number of kills he actually gets this game, I would probably put him at about... You know what? Why not? Let's have some fun. I'm going to say he's 10-1 by the end of the game. Just for fun.
Okay, so here's my proposition for you. If he gets to 15, do we get the Jod emote?
If he gets to 15 kills... If he gets to 15 kills, I'll do what I said for Twitch chat as well. That is, I will make a Jodran emote on the Discord. So if he gets 15 kills, I'll make a Jodran emote specifically for the XLNC Discord, specifically for him, because we will all be believers, I think, at that point. But let's make sure we introduce these teams. I don't think they need introductions because we just had FSU come in, but there are other players on FSU's lineup, and we haven't seen God Squad since game number 1. So... FSU, they've got themselves Armin 546 in the top lane, Swagasm, who had just as good of a game as the Jod ran last game, playing the Zac again, Jodran on that Yasuo. Please pray that he doesn't tilt in that mid lane. Annihilator on the Caitlyn, and Vythan GWC on that Nautilus support.
Hasn't he played Nautilus all 3 games so far?
I'm not sure about their game number 1, but last game FSU's black bottom lane support was the Karma. So a different champion. Game 2, Bink Sword had the Nautilus support, and game 1, Bar Esports had the Nautilus support. So Nautilus has been played every single night this game, or every single game, this night, just on different teams.
It's going to be interesting to see how he does then, but on the side of the God Squad, we've got the C9 World Champ on Maokai in the top lane. Solheim is playing Nocturne. Zizovic is playing LeBlanc in the mid lane. In the bot lane, we have Rapid Fire and Angelic Baby playing their Ezreal Yuumi combo that we saw in so much detail earlier, and we are so excited to see it again.
Yep, we still got some time though to talk about these two teams, so let's discuss the top lane, because that's also been very, very spicy. Last game, it was that Kled playing up against the Volibear, which the Volibear looked really good starting 2-0 for Bink Sword, but that Kled eventually coming out with the big charges, leading his team with the speed boost of the Karma as well into more and more teamfight victories. This time, Mordekaiser, I think, is a much safer top laner, mostly because, look, Solheim, you can visit top lane all you want. Mordekaiser post 6 will always take it to the 1v1, which means that Swagasm can focus even more into the bottom side of the map, because he doesn't have to worry about top side with that Mordekaiser up there.
Yep, and so here's kind of a fun mechanical move that I'd like to see, and if I actually get to see it, I might drop a gift sub. I would love to see Mordekaiser avoid the Maokai vines by bringing him into the Shadow Realm as they get popped. I'd love to see that. If that happens, I'll say it right now, I'll drop a subscription for someone in the chat.
Oh boy, we got a sub on the line if Armin can pull off the avoiding ultimate from Maokai by slipping into the Shadow Realm and taking somebody with him. Why not? Let's go have a little bit of a duel and see who comes out the victor there. Let's look quickly into the bottom lane as well. The Caitlyn and the Nautilus. Lots of poke, lots of CC from the Nautilus. Not quite as strong as the Ashe Nautilus from Bar Esports, because you kind of have to wait for post 6 from the Caitlyn, from the Ashe, to start to get involved in the crowd control, but also still strong when it comes to dropping down those cupcake Yordle snap traps that Caitlyn has, and so can still pair in some of that crowd control, and layering that through the jungle through the brushes in that bottom side can make it a bit more treacherous for Yuumi to try to find some weird angles to throw out those prowling projectiles and get some poke down onto the Caitlyn.
Yep, and really, this is going to be an interesting game, especially in that mid lane. If Jodran manages to beat out Vivovic, 2 things happen there. One, it's Jodran. He wins his lane and goes on to exert his pressure all over the field as only a Yasuo can. If he wins that lane, also, Zizovic is not the surprise carry that we need to see from the God Squad here. If LeBlanc is not able to put out enough damage, then it's going to be a rough game for them.
Well, we are into Summoner's Rift and immediately into a pause, as is usual for the NA, which was just asked. Where are these games being played at? It is NA as the server, and these teams are anywhere from basically bronze to plat 4. So it's a wide range, but almost all the players sit somewhere between gold and plat. We just open it up to the lower tier so that if they have one player that's silver, hasn't quite grinded all the way to gold, they can still come in and participate. But if you check the op.gg, everyone is basically P4 to plat 4 to gold 4, so very close. Another invade, though, super early this time. It's going to be the side. Oh, hold on, you should cast this one. Go ahead.
Viathan's actually going to find that hook right there. The Ignite's going to come down. So far, it just looked like Viathan burned his Ignite for not really enough pressure to bring in the kill there, but they do exert their presence. The Gospel of Jod has been spread to the other jungle already. We're not even a minute in, and both teams are going to back off to their respective positions.
Yep. So one of the things there that you saw is that in game number 2, Bink's sword actually had the Nautilus burning flash to land the dredge line onto the Ezreal and get first blood for Binks. Didn't work out for them in the long run, being able to actually take a victory in that game. But the Nautilus is just so incredibly powerful because keep in mind, not only does he have the dredge line, but he also has the auto attack afterwards to layer even more of that crowd control route onto the enemy team person. So this time around, though, they don't actually find that much advantage. They only burn the ignite, no flashes needing to be burned out, and it's just kind of getting a little bit of vision when they drop that ward in the enemy team side jungle, so they know where that Nocturne Solheim is, at least for now. You can also see on the top side, though, right by Raptors, they got another ward in there as well, the Yasuo. Jodran himself getting some vision, so they should know if Nocturne speed runs his way to the top side of the jungle. If it disappears before you see the Nocturne, it means that he's full clearing bottom side.
Let's talk Solheim for a second there. Did you notice his summoners? He's not carrying Flash, he's only carrying Ignite.
Oh, so he's not looking at necessarily trying to collapse and get those last couple of hits in or even escape. He's straight in for fights. When he ults, he's going in to kill because there's no real way for him to get out if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that pop off once or twice here. I want to see if Solheim can deliver on the promise of that Ignite, pop in, do so much damage, and then not even have to worry about running away. I'm really excited to see that happen there. But in the bot lane, it looks like I'm already being proven wrong. They're not winning their lane very hard right now at all.
Oh, hold on. Nocturne,
Swagaz is actually going to find Solheim, and he's not even going to have to burn the Ignite. Here's Jodran and Armin. Zizovic coming in to try and save him. He misses the chain, though. He has to back off. Jodran will get first blood this game. The first to that 15, and hopefully an emote.
Verse 1 has already been penned for this final book, maybe of the chapter of Jodran, because he gets himself not only first blood, double buffs as well. Great roam in to help out Swagasm's Zac. And hey, it's Swagasm, it's a Zac. He can die one time, that's fine. He will have his passive to protect him. So Solheim getting a little bit over aggressive in that invade because you can't just straight up kill the enemy team jungler. You have to kill him twice. And that gives first blood to the man, the myth, the legend of Jodran himself in that mid lane.
Yep, and like we were talking, I was a little bit right in the bot lane. We've seen Rapid Fire dodge so many hooks and snipe shots out of Annihilator that I forgot to keep score, but I think it's 3 or 4 hooks at this point. He is doing a good job avoiding all of that, but he's just not doing a good job with his farm. He is getting pushed off of stuff. And he is able to put a little bit of damage on Annihilator, but it's not looking like it's going to be enough in that bot lane.
Yeah, well, Annihilator on the Caitlyn is getting poked down a bit. The, Viathan on this Nautilus is trying to be that kind of front tank who kind of steps in the way. Hey, hit me instead of my ADC. But some of those really good Mystic shots from Rapid Fire are kind of slipping around the big tank. Mid lane, a little bit aggressive there. Here comes Zac hopping over the wall. Probably won't go under the turret, though, because it's LeBlanc. She's very slippery.
Yeah, he's actually not even going to come over the wall. He saw her get away, so he was ready to disengage there. Very good kind of sense from him, but he's just staying there in case they actually want to. And look, he is actually going to jump as Zizovic kind of dashes forward there, but he's only going to take a turret shot for his trouble.
Yeah, he really was kind of like, hey, I'm sitting over here for a long time. Raptors were traded between the two. Krugs are actually being grabbed by Solheim's Nocturne at the moment, so they might actually visit each other as Solheim should walk past the Zac in the jungle. They are going to go ahead and see each other, but top lane having a bit of a scuffle. Seems like the junglers are going to part ways and not actually engage each other.
Yeah, World Champ does go pretty low. He wasn't watching his mana like he should have. He ran out, and Armin was able to capitalize on that, trying to slay that Titan in the top lane. World Champ's not even going to back off just yet, though. He's just going to sit there. Solheim decides he can solo a dragon.
Yep, so Nocturne going ahead and starting that up, it really should be uncontested. I don't think there's anyone around to actually stop this, and even though his health will get a little bit low, unless Swagasm ran directly in, going straight in for this Drake. Yeah, there's no way to stop that. So first Drake goes over to God Squad, getting themselves at least one pretty big objective in this early game.
Yeah, that Infernal Drake is very important to pick up early on. It can mean a lot early, but actually, let's look at the bottom lane here, where it looks like Rapid Fire might be caught out here. It looks like Swagasm wants to move in. He's waiting so long, but his team just isn't moving back in yet.
Well, yeah, Caitlyn actually had recalled, so she was actually back buying items. She wanted to pick up not only the BF sword, but she actually had enough gold to grab the cull as well, to try to just get that little extra burst when it comes to getting those first couple of items. She's already completed that cull down to only 55 minions left, so very good work there from Annihilator. And without that major source of damage in the bottom lane, there really isn't any reason to actually go for any crazy dives, which means the Rapid Fire and Angelic Baby get the recall off as well. Tier for the Ezreal, no shocker there. Big thing to keep an eye on though is those boots on Ezreal will make him a little bit even harder to catch, whereas the Caitlyn has no boots, and the Nocturne is about to hit level 6, so she could be a very tasty target to jump onto.
Yep, as soon as he hits 6, we can expect him to just rocket across the screen. In fact, when he hits level 6, I'm moving my camera straight over there just to watch and kind of time how long that takes. But right now, the Rift Herald's about to come up. It's just 30 seconds. I think we can expect to see... Well, actually, no. Swagasm's in the bottom lane. He really wants that gank.
Yep, he's still down here. But again, that's where they want to set up Annihilator to actually win. Ooh, that dredge line a little bit short from Viathan, which means that Swagasm just heads into the enemy team jungle, but he's going to be seen on a control war, which means immediately bot side for God Squad going to be backing away. And keep in mind, all this time from Swagasm is actually giving the Nocturne time to roam around the map and to catch up on not only farm, but he's actually getting pretty far ahead in farm too, nearly over 10 CS lead. Nocturne to the top lane.
Yep, he's gonna rocket in just like we predicted. Armin goes down so quickly. He burned the Ignite as soon as he hit him, and he's going to pick up that kill onto Armin. I was watching. It was 20 seconds. That is how fast he wanted his ult to be. That was a great pick. He saw Swagasm in the bottom lane, and he knew that he had to move in automatically there. He did exactly that. He gets to clear out a little bit of jungle as well, as Swagasm is going to try and hop into the mid lane there. He pulls Vivavoc in a little bit, but oh no, that LeBlanc is just too slippery. Jodrin having a little bit of trouble there.
Yep, that distortion coming out from the LeBlanc actually breaking the grab out of Swagasm, getting a bit too far out of range. He is going to find that Nocturne, but he's feared up, going to be in trouble, trying to escape by using the Scuttle Crab, the Blast Cone. Hold on, there is a Yasuo. Nocturne's down. There's still Bob, and it's alive for the Swagasm. I think that TP coming in from Mordekaiser should be able to keep Swagasm alive a little bit longer, but now the Mordekaiser going to be in trouble. He's knocked back. Armin having to run away. LeBlanc popping in some damages. Zizavek should be able to shut him down. It's 2-for-1 kills traded as God Squad makes a win out of that fight.
Hey, that's my line.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just got so hyped. I just got straight up hyped into it.
No, I understand. This is a hype game, and that was all in front of that Rift Scuttle, but unfortunately for them, the Rift Herald rather, but no one's actually going to be able to come away strong enough to move in on that. So Solheim is just going to make a beeline for it, and I think we can actually expect to see him try to get it here a little bit.
Oh, Angelic Baby should go down to the Ignite as we've traded jobs here for a little bit. Rapid Fire probably going to finish this one off. Mystic Shot blocked by the minion, but I'll let you cast this as Yasuo comes slipping on in from the river.
Yep, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. He's dashing around. He's coming in after Rapid Fire. The sword gets stabbed in his direction. We thought he was going to disengage. No! Here's Viathan. He locks it down so Jodrin can pick up his 3rd kill of the game.
Yep, Jodran coming in. You said that we were going to be 10-1 was what I predicted that he would be. 15 kills means that we get a sub in the Twitch chat, so we can have a lot of hope left, but he's definitely starting to snowball, play in the mid lane, Swagasm trying to find this grab onto Zizavek, but this LeBlanc really starting to hurt.
Yep, that's a lot of damage right there. As Rapid Fire comes back into the bottom lane, he's going to burn his teleport to do it. He's going to take a little bit damage for the opportunity, but now they're in a pretty good position to try and take this next Drake. It's an Ocean Drake, so it's not unimportant. It's about as much as a potion. He's actually going to chase down Annihilator here. Lots of damage coming down. They are going to back up. Here's the headshot. It is going to connect.
Yeah, unfortunately, that flash being burned on Caitlyn going to slow things down a little bit more for FSU.
Well, hold on, we've got the rocket coming out! Zizavek's going to get the kill, but it was made possible through the great contributions of Solheim. He's going to see him right over the wall, dash over and pick up the Drake. Still, great play there.
Yeah, God Squad is not afraid of pulling the trigger on these plays. Not only is Solheim going straight on it, as you said, like a rocket and exploding members, but they also have the LeBlanc Zizavek doing a similar thing, 3-0-0 on this LeBlanc. I do like Armin saying, hey, you're going to grab the Drake, that's fine, we'll grab the Rift Herald on our side of the map, so that at least they're trading these objectives, but there's still going to need to be some time for Caitlyn to actually get some items into this game, for the Yasuo to finish off that Infinity Edge, and at some point you may end up having to build that health cutting, that healing cutting, for the side of FSU Black, because that Maokai is just going to be too hard to deal with all those heals.
Are you talking about Grievous Wounds?
Grievous Wounds, but also Morellonomicon. I wanted to say Morellonomicon, but then as I was thinking it, and it was on the tip of my tongue, I looked down the lineup and said, there's no one really good to build Morellonomicon on. So let me not say Morellos, but I was thinking about Grievous Wounds, especially for the Caitlyn and the Yasuo.
Yeah, and speaking of that Yasuo, just so many skirmishes in the mid lane, but actually Armin's going to try to go in on World Champ here. He's going to get punished so bad for it. He's got to return to his turret. I'm not seeing anything that's... Oh my gosh, never mind. Annihilator's gonna pick up Angelic Baby right there. Great hook from Viathan. Just when I was about to say I don't really see a winning lane here for the side of the Jod squad. They're coming back in a great way. Armin even doing some nice damage on the World Champ, but he does have to run here. World is just going to dash in. He's going to have to flash back out so he doesn't die to the turret, but that's a return kill right there.
Yeah, bottom side, the Yumi, I'm sorry, your health is a little bit low. You got annihilated, and now they're looking for the Ezreal as well.
No.
Rapid fire.
Oh no, here comes Swag! He's gonna go down so quickly, but just rocketing in his Solheim! Angelic has to run, he pops the last chapter, but no! Here's the shot!
That was a beautiful setup from FSU Black. You could not ask for a more coordinated play. You have Swagasm finding the knockup on Ezreal. Take him out immediately. Nocturne ults. Follow up with the ultimate, or just the CC chain from the Nautilus. Take him out as well. Nocturne's down. You have one member left, Angelic Baby, which is the perfect target for the ace in the hole from Caitlyn. 3 kills go straight to FSU Black, and they get first turret brick from grabbing that bottom side turret, and they're in position to grab ward coverage over the bottom side for the next Drake showing up. Just everything showed up FSU Black in the cards.
Was I saying they weren't winning lanes? Did I say that? The caster curse is very real. And so speaking of the caster curse, what we saw in the top lane there with World Champ, Armin actually did dodge the vines by going into the Spectral Universe. So give me one moment. Jake, if you could take over for a little bit. I have to give someone a sub.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll get to this after the sub in just a moment. Top side has a bit of a scuffle. The Obliterate coming down from the Mordekaiser, but I gotta say, the Obliterate is not really obliterating World Champ's health because this Maokai is getting incredibly difficult to take down. Abyssal Mask says, hey, I am super, super tanky. Ocean Drake says I can heal up as well as my own passive. so it will be a while before this Maokai truly gets taken down. Leander's Torment is starting to be built into the inventory of this Mordekaiser, but not quite there just yet. Infinity Edge completed by the Caitlyn, whereas the Phantom Dancer for the Yasuo. So first item starting to come through from both sides. In the top lane,
Swaggasm. He's going to find World Champ in the top lane. Armin trying to chase in. Armin, you don't have enough health to be doing that if World Champ wasn't more concerned. Oh, and there's the roots. We're even going to see the rocket come in to try and save World Champ, and he's doing so well. Armin had to face him in the Shadow Realm, and there we go. A double kill right there.
Yeah, 2 kills going to God Squad, and I got to say that Armin is just not strong enough in the top lane. If he had a bit more tankiness, maybe he could actually survive long enough for the rest of the damage coming through to actually be in effect. But unfortunately, he's dying just too quickly, and when you only have a untanky Mordekaiser who's falling down very quickly, and a Zac who's not carrying damage, how can you deal with Solheimer on this Nocturne just tearing people apart? He is getting so fed. He just completed his Duskblade, so he is going to deal just insane damage when he sets his eyes on a single target to shut down.
Yep, and it's just getting so disgusting here. Jodrin's doing his best, but I don't think the legend is enough to keep the team alive. At the end of the day, you need something a little bit more substantial. Speaking of substance, here's Swaggasm. He's going to try and hop really quickly onto Zizovic as he finds Nihilator. He's not going to do it, though. Nihilator even tries to take the scuttle, but it's not going to matter. So many dashing in, and with the Ignite, we will see Vivovic get the kill onto Nihilator. They really needed that to try and engage here. Oh, but here's Swaggasm. He's going to try and steal the Drake, but Solheim is so good with that Ignite, and then he's going to get the kill onto Swaggasm. How dare you try to take my Drake? Jodrin goes down as well. It's 5v2 right here. Solheim will go down as he gets himself a triple kill, and Viathan will go... No! Viathan actually did slay Solheim, but the ace comes through from Rapid Fire. Unfortunately, the Baron has to come up in another 3 minutes, but the Rift Herald's almost up right now. They can turn that team fight into this mid lane turret, and then probably into the Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, God Squad just looking incredibly strong. We thought that the God Squad was going to be enough to take them down. Unfortunately, though, that second death is really, really hurting them. Is they really, when it comes to these fights, are a bit scattered. They're not focusing down single targets. Their ultimates have already been burned quite heavily on a variety of different things. There's Arzakeli's community tier 2 sub given out as well. That is huge. Thank you so much to that, as Focus Me getting one, as well as Dragu. Thank you for that. I couldn't quite see the rest of the name, but I hope you guys appreciate those. Jodran coming into the bottom lane, looking for Rapid Fire. That wind wall not really necessary, as Rapid Fire wasn't really shooting anything out. Swaggasm coming on into the bottom lane as well, but I think Rapid Fire going to get soloed out. So Ezreal down in the bottom side, but here comes the ultimate out from the Maokai coming into the mid lane, looking to start those roots up on everyone. Caitlyn is gone. Zizovic shutting them down. They're going to be focusing next, but the Nocturne's already been finished off by the Mordekaiser. Finished off the Leander's Torment, but he's going to fall himself. The flash from the Maokai. He wants this astronaut, bring him back down to earth and send him to the fountain, but he's got himself that Gargoyle Stone Plate. He is tanky. Ultimate out from the Yasuo. They've got the knock-up. The Yuumi final chapter trying to root them up, but I don't think the damage is actually there. LeBlanc is the only one here trying to take down this Zac. TP's coming in. Ezra wants to rejoin the fight as Swaggasm on the run. Rapid Fire hopping over the wall. Mystic Shot is going to miss. Swaggasm bobbing and weaving and running and jumping, as there is a nice body block from the Yasuo to make sure that he gets out alive, and somehow FSU Black turned what looked like a disastrous play into, I believe, ended up going even 2 for 2 or maybe 2 for 1.
Wow, absolutely incredible. I was just trying to give a little love out, guys. You can wait like 5 seconds before you start a single team fight that'll last 2 minutes. Good golly, Miss Molly, what in the world?
Well, I'm sure that there's a bit of a issue wherever. I'm not exactly sure what I'm not seeing out of my end, but a huge thank you to Big League for hosting XLNC Esports. That is massive. I have no idea whether it truly came through or not on my end, but thank you so much. Welcome, Big. All of you guys doing a fantastic job, and I love you coming in with that host Big League. Thank you so much for that. We are into our final game 3 of the night here. We had ourselves some incredible games from both God Squad side as well as FSU Black. Some big leaders and carries here. Jod Ran is our man if you're looking on the side of FSU Black. Caitlyn going to be in trouble again because the rocket of Solheim cannot be stopped. Ultimate out there from the Nautilus, just trying to back away. Swagasm here as well. The Mordekaiser dragging in the Maokai. I don't think that's the target that you want. They're continuing to just beat the crap out of each other, but the Zac is going to be the first one to fall as Rapid Fire is pumping that damage rapid style into FSU Black. Armin 4546, drops the Obliterate, but he's obliterated himself, and it's a 1-for-3 trade in favor of God Squad. And while FSU Black may be starting the plays, God Squad's the one who's putting the final period on them.
Yeah, and something that fight taught me right there is they don't need Zizovic. I was expecting Zizovic to be the carry of this game, but instead, it is going to be Solheim. He's going to be the one dashing in, getting those kills. Zizovic and even Angelic Baby can just sit out of the fight, and it will still go their way. Indeed, they'll even go after Jodrin in the bot lane. Angelic Baby will get the kill. There's even one for the Yuumi. That's gotta feel bad, man. And now they have complete control and priority over this Cloud Drake that's spawning right now. And guess which Drake that is? That is their soul. Do you think Swag's gonna be able to steal it from Solheim? Because I'm not quite sure. And Solheim right now is feeling a lot more like Swolheim.
I love it. Swolheim indeed. 3 levels up, 50 CS over Swagasm. This guy is just looking to take names. Ace in the hole from the Caitlyn just to touch a tiny bit of damage onto Rapid Fire because everyone knows the Caitlyn ultimate doesn't do all that much. There is a slim chance for Swagasm to get in and try to take this Wind Drake, but it is a slim chance indeed as everyone going to be positioning around it. Started up by God Squad. They're the ones that want the soul, and the Wind Drake will be even better for them. Oh my gosh! Annihilator's annihilated. Zac is in, but the Nocturne grabs it. Solheim gets himself that Drake. The soul to the side of God Squad, and now they can grab the Zac at their leisure, and they can rotate, take Baron as well with the enemy team jungler down.
Well, in the mid lane, I think maybe Jodrin. Oh no, they didn't run fast enough. Solheim didn't even pop his ultimate to get in there. And there we go. They're gonna be blasted down. Do they still want Baron? The wave's right here. They can push that mid turret.
They don't really need to because they can just rotate, and while it's still a 5v3, go for this Baron, start it up. The multiple members of FSU Black are respawning and are coming out of the base, but I don't think even if they got here, even if they were prepped and ready for the 5v5 fight, it would take a miracle play for them to be able to turn this one around and to stop those Barons from going over to the God Squad side, or even clean them up after the fight, because look at their health bars. It's also just massive health bars, fully healed up. They are ready to start up a fight if FSU Black show up, and they can't even do that.
Yep, at 23 minutes, the Baron is taken. At 22, the Cloud Soul went down. And now, I think at 25, we will see them begin to push into this base. All of the FSU squad is in the mid lane. They're trying to get anything for their trouble. They're trying to get that mid lane turret, get a little bit of gold currently. It's a 4k gold lead, and the item lead's even bigger. 2 to 3 items for everyone on the God Squad right now, and only 2 items at the most for a lot of the FSU team. Especially, oh my gosh, look at Caitlyn. Doesn't even have the 3rd one ready, but it doesn't matter.
Nocturne's in with that ultimate from Yuumi as well. The final chapter. Is this the final chapter for the members of FSU Black? It's not, because they immediately take down the Nocturne. They're trying to focus down the LeBlanc as well. Ziz has been able to slip their way out with the TP coming in from Maokai in the bot lane after grabbing that first tier turret down there. But the health bars on FSU Black are low. Here comes that ultimate from C9 World Champ jumping underneath the turret, trying to root people up. And the Ezreal is just pumping the damage, rapid fire, taking people down. It's a double for both the carries of God Squad, rapid fire and Zizovic. That's the mid lane second tier turret as well. And just as you think there's something good from FSU Black, God Squad send them right back to the fountain. Only Jodran surviving the fight.
Yep, I was right to call out Rapid Fire earlier. He may not have won his lane, but man, his performance in these team fights, it's not been noticeable because he's just been doing so well, so consistently, it kind of becomes background noise. Oh, more damage from Rapid Fire. You just kind of expect that. And there's Zizovic, he's doing the same kind of thing. Such good, consistent damage. He'll find Jodran, and now...
See now, World Champ trying to get dragged into the enemy team, but I think the Nautilus is already gone. Swagasm probably going to follow as well. Annihilator trying to run away with a 90 caliber net, but caught out and goes down. Turret will be up next, and despite all of the attempts to make the plays from FSU Black, every single time the carries slip out of their grasp like water in the river. You cannot catch them, and they will catch you. That's game to God Squad, dominating all the games tonight. But man, did FSU Black put them to the test throughout the entirety of this game.
And we will see Zizovic go 11-0-10. Really, the true carry of the night. World Champ, though, he also helped. He got himself 23 assists. Maybe we need to examine the need for an emote for Zizovic or World Champ here, because really, those performances were far past masterful.
Yeah, well, it's not the end of the world for them. A lot of it can be taken down to the plays and the choices that the team as a whole made. I think that some of their roams were a little bit questionable, and while they did a very, very good job of shutting down God Squad in the early game when Solheim was getting a little bit too diving into the enemy team, no one was looking at Zizovic on this LeBlanc. 11-0-10, just pouring damage in, slipping out of the fights, and constantly shutting down Annihilator. How many times did we see this LeBlanc slip in right past everyone, knock out the Caitlyn immediately, and get out alive before the fight even began, setting most of these fights at 4v5s, in which, how are you expected to carry, especially when the Nocturne, hey, you know what, Caitlyn's gone, let's have the Nocturne jump onto the Yasuo, jump onto the Zac, shut them down as well, ignore the tanks, they don't mean a thing, we're just going to focus on your damage dealers and win the fight.
Yep, that one was just rough. It feels like another stomp. We were expecting so much more from FSU there, but they just weren't able to deliver against this God Squad. We saw them take down Binks in the first round, and we thought this was a strong contender, but now we've seen them take down FSU so soundly, and we know they're a strong contender.
Yep, so beautiful stuff from God Squad. We are going to send it to our analyst desk to kind of end the night out, give their thoughts on these two teams and how they ended it all, because it's been a fantastic night overall. Again, thank you all for coming out as viewers, and let's tune in and hear what Deatropa and Axeman have to say about the end of this game.
All right, what's up, Axeman? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. Thanks for kicking it over to us there, Jake. And wow, what a game 3. That was so much fun to watch. I know maybe some viewers in the chat didn't quite get the Jodran game that they were looking forward to there. But, nonetheless, I feel like he had a pretty solid game on the Yasuo. Let's talk about this game in general, though. 11-0-10 on this LeBlanc. What do you have to say about that, Tropa?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to have a lot of analysis for what's it called, a clearly fed LeBlanc, but I can postulate as to why it might have happened. I really liked FSU's comp going into this game, and I thought they had a really interesting side lane and really interesting ability to play around the map. They have strong team fight potential, but I was kind of surprised to see them taking a lot of mid game fights, especially with a Mordekaiser who's behind a Caitlyn and a Yasuo who both need time to move to those later item spikes, especially having to itemize defensively on the Yasuo and things like that. And I think FSU taking a few too many fights in the mid game might have been what hurt them the most. How about you?
Yeah, and I have to agree. It really was the case of like whoever pulls the trigger first loses. Both these comps have a lot of late game power spikes, and to overstep your boundaries a little bit earlier in the game is really how you lose this game. That said, I mean, you're taking all your across-the-board itemization and things like that. I thought it was super weird that Armin, despite being so behind, just kind of itemized for a Thornmail. In my mind, none of the AD champions or even the champions that are like healing a lot are really the issue here. I mean, yeah, you're definitely losing lane to C9 World Champ. And if the goal for this Mordekaiser is just to beat Maokai, sure, Grievous Wounds is great. But for me, the goal here isn't to beat C9 World Champ. It also isn't even really to beat Solheim all that much. It really is just Zizovic. And in that respect, you have a single no magic mantle, and that is not helping you at all. This 11-0, I think 25 stack Majai's LeBlanc is deleting absolutely everybody on the map, and almost nobody has any MR. I mean, there's a Spirit Message on Swagasm, a Negatron Cloak on the Jodrin, but even that you could see is kind of a more recent, like, last ditch effort type of thing. No one was really itemizing at all for this MR, and to be honest, I can't blame them that, but there's a single source of magic damage on this team, or a relevant one anyway, and it is Zizovic. So I can't really blame anybody for not itemizing for it, but at the end of the day, it was the most important damage stat on Summoner's Rift here tonight, and yeah, they just didn't have the MR to deal with it.
Yeah, it does just feel bad to have to itemize for such a soul damage source. But actually, speaking of the LeBlanc, I mentioned going into this game that I was really curious about the Zizovic Solheim synergy that we saw be so important in their previous game with Cassiopeia Trundle. And in the same way, even though he wasn't on the Trundle, we did see Solheim going into the mid game being willing to pull the trigger to start fights for his team, even though they don't have a whole lot of mid game go buttons if Maokai doesn't have flash. I think that him starting off plays and punishing overextensions consistently was a big part of why FSU wasn't able to play the map in the same way as they would have liked, and were denied kind of that condition to get back into the game and contest Zizovic later.
Absolutely. I think a couple times Zarzekli timed the usage of Solheim's ultimate to its cooldown, and I'm pretty sure Solheim was using it like within 30 seconds of the cooldown coming back or something like that. Hyper aggressive Nocturne, right? And it really does show in the scoreline here, 8-7-7. That's a lot of kills, a lot of takedowns there, a lot of deaths too, more than double the deaths of his next teammate, Rapid Fire and Angelic Baby, both at 3 deaths there. So yeah, just absolutely hyper aggressive. When we talk about engage tools, you're right. That's pretty much it for his team, is Solheim hard engaging, maybe Zizovic going in as well, but he definitely made it happen as far as engage tools goes. A little bit of healing as well. I feel like kind of, I guess, made Armin feel like he needed Grievous Wounds, Annihilator as well, just enough to kind of validate that pickup. I almost feel like Grievous Wounds isn't as important here as maybe they thought it would be. In my mind, Maokai is just not, like, killing Maokai, you can't do it without Grievous Wounds here, but that's not the goal. Like, that's not your win condition. Killing Solheim, also not your win condition. Obviously, it's really just peeling him off your carries is the only thing you have to do. Winning fights and winning this game for me is killing Zizovic ever. Getting that shutdown gold onto a carry would have changed the course of this game, and also just killing Rapid Fire, and that's how you win these fights. But it just didn't happen. It didn't happen enough in the case of Rapid Fire.
Yeah, and having Solheim be such a present problem means that you can't really start dealing with Zizovic until you've peeled the Nocturne off your carry, is what it feels like sometimes. And certainly was true in this game, especially with the Death Dance. He was lasting longer, extending these team fights. I do agree that Grievous Wounds would have been really nice to have, because almost everybody, with the exception of the LeBlanc, can heal significantly. But It was not meant to be for FSU. I like their comp, and I like the way they played today. Same thing for God Squad, though. Really well-deserved win. And I'm excited to see both these teams come back and play again and see how they evolve, and especially as they get to know each other better and what their strengths are.
Yeah, for sure, and that'll be a lot of fun. I think there was a lot of unique and innovative picks here tonight. I don't think we get to see the LeBlanc enough. I thought it was a competent Zach counter after seeing Swagasm have such a great game too. just to be able to pick such a really safe laner like LeBlanc is, rapid fire as well, and the Ezreal essentially gave Swagasm no options when it came to time to gank, right?
Yeah.
Which is real bad, especially if you're a Zach, which, Zach's whole deal is, hey, I can gank anybody. I just did not have the options he had in game 2.
Yeah, and being able to, after seeing that game 2, still decide that you're going to leave that pick open for Swagasm, who has the potential to really start carrying the game on it, is really impressive from God Squad. Again, very happy with the games that we've had tonight. That's going to be all from me and from the analyst desk, and I'm going to throw this back to Jake to end us off after these great games. Thanks so much, guys.